talk about that in the later session.
No, I'm not going to talk about it again. And yes, I mentioned very briefly that Shams was an inspiration to Rumi, and of course it is a mysterious inspiration. We do not know much about it, and Rumi does not tell us much about it, you see. He only mentions Shams in passing, and he deliberately avoids mentioning Shams, and he said that this will create turmoil and things like that, so he avoids that. And sometimes he even says that do not seek bloodshed, because he knew that mentioning Shams and bringing up his name even might create bloodshed and turmoil and things like that, so he avoided it, though he concealed it in his heart actually. And everywhere Shams was with him, he himself actually explains that his relationship with Shams is like he was a thought among other thoughts of Shams. He was a particular thought in the mind of Shams, so he was so close to him. In another place he says that our souls are so close to each other that whatever you think, I think. Whatever I think, you think. So as if we are the same soul, the same personality, the same spirit, and so on. So these are the sort of things that he tells us. And then the oath that I mentioned in the body of lecture, that he says, this is exactly about the outcome of his meeting with Shams. So I was dead, now I'm alive. And I was perishable, as I said, now I'm eternal. And then he goes on to mention actually a dialogue. He mentions that he said, but he never says who said to him, but we know and we can guess that he said means Shams said to me, that you are an imam, you are a leader, so you have to leave all that behind. And then he says that I said to him, yes, I will do all this. So actually what he did was to get rid of all these attachments and belongings and everything, you see. So he became naked, so to speak, according to him. And then he gave him a garment. That is exactly what he says, a kingly garment, according to him. So he became a king, he became courageous, he became the main gift that was offered to him by Shams was the gift of love, no doubt about it. And this courage and this love gave him the courage actually to, as I said, to detach himself from all his attachments. To be a leader, to be a mufti, to be an orator, to be a popular person among your followers. This is not a simple thing actually, to detach yourself from all this and to become naked according. But he did all this. He was in his 40s, so he was a well-established person in his community. But he got the courage to do all this. That was the main lesson taught to him by Shams.
And why was Shams
he didn't calculate
so
about it.
Why was Shams after all killed and so?
No, he was not killed. No. It is a myth. He was not killed. Of course, he was teased, if you like, and by the followers of Rumi, because they did not like Shams. They thought that Shams has taken away their master from them. So they did not like Shams, and so there was a sort of hostility between them. Even one of the sons of Rumi did not like Shams himself. Well, stories tell us that, again, a woman was involved here, because, the stepdaughter of Rumi, not his real stepdaughter of Rumi, actually Rumi married her to Shams. And the stories tell us that the son of Rumi actually was in love with the girl. So that was the reason behind the hostility between at least the son of Rumi with Shams. But that was not the whole story, of course. All the followers and the people in the town actually, they did not like Shams because they thought that their mentor, their master, their teacher became altogether very different under him. So Shams fled actually the town, and for for the first time, and then he came back, but for the second time he disappeared and never came back at all.
One last question. Yeah.
You mentioned that Rumi said that humility is a characteristic of love. love is boundless kindness, and that only God is without bounds, so therefore God is the real true lover. By inference, that must mean that God exhibits humility. We read and hear about in most major religions about God, the wrath of God, and the reward of God, and God's forgiveness. Where and how would we say we see God's humility?
Well, of course, I mean, there are characteristics which we usually, normally do not use for God. I don't see anything wrong with using the word humility, and wrath and other things does not contradict with humility necessarily. I mean, the mercy of God, of course, is the supreme attribute of God. According to people like Rumi, his wrath, his anger, if you like, all are subordinate to his mercy, are manifestations of his mercy, according to this book. I can refer you to the book 2 of Masnavi, the story of the Iblis and Muawiyah. You see, there you will see that the Iblis mentions very extensively and in detail to Muawiyah how he became an Iblis. He was an angel and he was beloved by God and he was very close to him and he was worshipping him for thousands of years. And then because of a piece of disobedience, okay, he became Iblis and actually God rejected him and so on. There, the dialogue between the Muawiyah and the Iblis, of course, is made by Rumi himself. The story you wouldn't find in any source at all. It is Rumi's. There you will see and you will find that the Iblis says, okay, though I am now under the wrath of God, but isn't it the case that the wrath of God is one of the manifestations of his mercy? Therefore, in a hidden way, in a surreptitious way, if you like, I am under the mercy of God, though apparently and ostensibly I am under the wrath of God. So there is a theory, because there is a hierarchy of attributes of God. The mercy is the highest, and then comes other attributes, and the lower attributes are manifestations of the higher attributes. So this is a piece of theology and a piece of mysticism as well. So the mercy is the highest, is the supreme attribute, and the wrath of God is one of the lower ones, and that is one of the manifestations of the mercy. Because God is merciful, sometimes he shows wrath to people. It is not because of the wrath itself, it is because of the mercy. Even they say that the hell and the heavens are no different from each other. Both are manifestations of the mercy of God. God is merciful everywhere. It is not the case that sometimes merciful, sometimes not merciful, sometimes generous and sometimes not generous. That is not the case. He's generous all the time and everywhere. He's merciful all the time and everywhere. And because he has got mercy upon his creatures, he has created both heavens and hell. Rumi has got very, very nice descriptions, explanation about the creation of hell. He says some people go to hell and there they actually start knowing and recognizing their God. Some other people, and recognition of God is heaven itself. And there is a tradition in Islam that there comes a day that on the ground of the hell the vegetables will grow. And they say that this means that the hell is part of the heavens. So, I mean, this match for this. Therefore, I mean, there is no contradiction between the two. God having wrath and God having mercy, or the humility of God. But of course, humility is a word which we specifically use for human beings. But in the case of God, this does not mean that he is arrogant, or because arrogance means to claim something which is not yours. If he claims power, if he claims knowledge, this is what he has got. So this is no arrogance on the part of God. But in the case of a lover, according to Rumi, we are borrowers of everything. We are not owners of anything. If we are alive, life is something which we borrowed it from God. If we are powerful, if we are knowledgeable, if we are this and that, all these are what we have borrowed it from God. So we cannot claim to be owners of this. If we have got an existence at all, this existence is not ours.